Hello, Stuart Carpy here. I'd like to read a headline of an article that was in the Philadelphia Inquirer recently. We're a couple weeks past the Sochi Winter Olympics. This is an article that reads, "Bobsled slams into track worker." So when I read it, I followed the story. Unfortunately, an employee at the Sochi Olympics was on the bobsled track, and either he didn't get the safety message or the people taking the bobsled down on a training run weren't aware that he was there. And he was very lucky because he could have been killed, obviously, but he broke both of his legs. I think he was airlifted from the scene, had surgery, very severe injuries, but obviously he survived his injuries, but he needed surgery. So it got me to thinking, because these are actually the types of cases that we handle all the time. Now, I don't handle bobsled accident cases, but this is really a story about systems failures. And every single case where we file suit in, there is some sort of system failure. So the parties that we file suit against, either in a car accident case or where someone gets injured on someone else's property, or a medical malpractice case, or a products liability case, it's always having to do with what happened in this case, a systems failure. I'm going to show you the headline of the article because I think it's just a really interesting story and how it ties into personal injury cases in this country, and again, what we do every day. When a system failure occurs, it's either because the person that caused our client injury didn't put the system in place properly, didn't change the system, didn't teach the system to the people that had to make sure it was being followed, or didn't apply it properly. And that's always the scenario, and we raise those allegations in almost every lawsuit that we file. So even though this is an incident that occurred across the world, in a completely different type of setting, to an individual who probably doesn't have the rights to pursue compensation for his injuries or workers' compensation benefits in the same way that those benefits are available to people in this country, and particularly in Pennsylvania, the accident and what happened had to do with systems failure. Either he was not made aware or didn't pay attention to what the signals were above, or the people further up the line weren't making him aware of what was going on, and in fact that there was a bobsled coming down the track. Or that the systems in between, call them electronic systems or other human systems to warn the individual who eventually got hurt, those systems in between were not functioning or were not put in place properly. We see the same thing where a medical situation goes bad, systems in the emergency room or in the ER are not followed, taught, adhered to properly, things like that. So it's an interesting issue because it applies in all of our clients' cases, in just about every personal injury case in one aspect or another, but it ties into this very interesting story about this event that occurred at the Sochi Olympics. So I invite anybody who's watching this video to send me an email or call me, and we can discuss it further.